Hello to everyone and the internet. Welcome to Thursday Maggots, January 31st. I'm Nathan of Washington, you're watching Culture Shock. The only show on the internet that knows how to separate issue culture from issue of politics. And this is the news in 2019. Of course, this is the news in 2019 with a little sprinkling of 2018 because there's some stuff that should have got covered last year that wasn't. Such as 3 autistic children, 2 aged 8 and 1 10, were abused by their teachers at a school for autistic children. Margaret Wolders, 48, and 2 aides, Diana LaCroix, 52, and Carolyn Madison, 47, being the teachers in question, which used sound that caused the children agony, like a little whistle, deliberately whistling in their ears and shit, or putting them in dark rooms that terrified them, make them scream and cry to punish or otherwise correct wrong behavior. Basically torturing a child with a low threshold for auditory stimuli. They deliberately and maliciously blew a whistle in his ears. Like, he would try to cover his ears and they'd grab his arms to hold him down, or he'd normally wear like earphones and they just pull him out, being evil bitches and shit. The child attempted to cover his ears, and he was usually wearing earphones to guard against auditory stimuli, and they were keeping him from doing either. The 3 women would threaten the child with a whistle at other times to correct his behavior. Sickening. Wolders, LaCroix, and Madison also placed 3 children in solitary confinement as punishment on separate occasions, one at a time. The students would be placed into Wolders' bathroom alone with the lights turned off and the door shut. They would scream and cry, and while shut in the bathroom, if they tried to turn on the lights or open the door, one of 3 women would make them stay in there even longer. How the hell do you get to be a teacher at a specialty school for autism when you act like that? Why are autistic children in this country treated the way they are? I mean, I'm autistic. I'm an adult with autism. Thank God I was never treated like that in school. Man, fuck these bitches. I would absolutely love to see them having their teaching license taken away from them and permanently prevented from ever teaching again. They can go flip burgers at a McDonald's for all I care. That this is not okay. This is simply not okay. An Antifa member who organized an attack on 2 Latino Marines charged with assault. Yeah, you remember that, right? They thought that they were part of the right-wing group not too far away. They called them white supremacists and Nazi and all that typical lefty bullshit. What's even more amazing is how when the guys shouted out, "I'm Mexican," they switched their slurs and started calling him spick and wetback. Wow. Not very leftist of you to, throw slurs at a minority. But Joseph Alcoff is the guy who organized this, and he faces 17 charges, including multiple counts of aggravated assault, conspiracy, terroristic threats, ethnic intimidation, and 1 count of robbery, while inflicting serious bodily injury. Alcoff's arrest comes 2 months after the arrest of Thomas Massey and Tom Keenan, who is considered a leader of the Philadelphia Antifa cell, and was charged in 2011 with Alcoff in connection with a New Jersey riot. The Marines Alejandro Godinez and Luis Torres testified in December that a group of 10 to 12 Antifa members called them Nazis and white supremacists and attacked them on the street despite their denials that they had no association with the right-wing group demonstrating nearby. Yeah. During the attack, Godinez said he shouted, "I'm Mexican" at the mob, which allegedly led the attackers to call him a spick and wetback. Antifa should basically be categorized as a domestic terrorist organization. Like, literally the federal legislature should declare them terrorists and hunt them all down and arrest them, every last one of them. That's what I think would be the best option. It's like, these guys are completely unacceptable. They're pretty much all criminals. Most of them. Not all, though. But most of them. I'll play you a video here, you can hear it, of their own testimony of the 2 Marines. Hear this for yourself, guys.
The Marine Reserve attacked Luis Torres. Luis, I first heard about this. I thought to myself, this is when I'm glad my mother and father have gone to their final resting place, because I don't even know how they would react to this. They would say, what has happened to our country? That something like this could happen to 2 Marines just trying to, go and see the sights in the city of brotherly love. Take us through what happened that day.
Well, thanks for having me, Laura. So me and Corporal Godinez were downtown Philly, in the Penn's Landing area, around there. We've never been in that area ourselves. That was our first time. We were with our entire squadron to meet at the Liberty Bell by noon. So not only we were there, we were mandated to be there by our command, to be there for professional military education. That's what we call PME, just to check out the landmarks, check out the historical exhibits, and regular civilian attire. And lo and behold, we will never know. Later on, we will fall victims to these activists. We were there at noon, and my first priority was simply to grab a bite to eat. And so me and Godinez together, we go find somewhere else, a casual restaurant. We get something to eat. We have plenty of time to kill. That evening was our Hilton. We had our Marine Corps ball at the Hilton Hotel. So to celebrate the 243rd birthday of the Marine Corps. So that was our plan, being at Philly.
Okay, when did you get confronted by these characters? Take us right to that moment. What happened? Because are you dressed in your full Marine uniform?
At that moment, no, not at all. Well,
okay.
Like I said, we arrived there at 12 in casual civilian attire.
Okay.
Up to 3 o'clock. We visited the Tongue Tavern Memorial.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but so you get closer, and a couple of these characters come up to you and ask, we saw Trace's report, are you proud? And he's like, you're a Marine, Proud Boy. You didn't know what Proud Boy meant. It's a far-right group that has these kind of little rallies. How did it feel to be called a white supremacist as someone of Hispanic descent?
That is extreme irony to us. We found it very ironic and confusing as well. I don't know who would look at us and suppose white supremacist, neo-Nazi, or anything like that. Godinez is Mexican. I am Puerto Rican. Nonetheless, we're 2 Hispanic Marines on duty that day during duty hours, and to be confronted by white folks not supposing that there is anything racially charged towards us until he asks us, are we Proud Boys? And then later on the crowd just calls us these racial slurs, and then later on calls us racial slurs for being a Hispanic heritage. The irony was just colossal.
Semper Fi, my friend. Merry Christmas. Sorry you had to go through this, but I'm glad you're okay, and give our best to Alejandro. And I know he had a rough go of it, and he's still suffering the results of these injuries. This is Antifa. My gosh, this is the United States of America. Disagree virulently if you want, but not this. This is criminal. This is thuggery, and it's a type of domestic terrorism. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
Alright, so yeah, you heard all that, right? By their own admission, it's a real thing that happens. What did I say? Domestic terrorists. It's exactly what they are. They really should be all arrested. Put on trial. It's a terrorist organization. Break it up. So the federal legislature should get on that. Moving on to our final story today. A possible 12,000 migrants on the way with 2,300 soldiers providing support as ordered by the Pentagon. Yeah, we're back to this again. And if you're wondering how this is more of an issue of culture, well, remember what I said earlier today on on the unglobalist about illegal aliens coming in to vote. Well, I think there's going to be a bit more of that this time. And not only that, but it really is a huge problem that these illegal aliens come over in such large numbers, because they're a drain on the economy, that we have to take care of them and provide asylum for them. We understand their situation, but we really can't handle all these asylum seekers when our government budget is so wacky and politicians keep spending money that they don't have. It's like they're addicted to the spending, you know? It's like they're gamblers or something. It's a huge problem, and it hurts our economy. It hurts our democracy, our republic, and it makes the living situation in this country just that much harder. It's like these people aren't thinking about what happens to us. They're only thinking about what happens to them. And while I understand they're coming from a horrible, horrible place, you can't just be thinking, completely selfish, me all the time. It's bad. It's guarantee you're eventually going to hurt other people badly if all you're thinking is me. And since most of these migrants probably won't be rational enough to explain that to them, they won't accept it. So that's why we need the fucking wall, and why we need to keep them out until we can sort them out, give asylum to the ones that we can afford to, prioritize women and children, and just try and get the government to stop spending so much damn money. Guarantee if we kept the migrants out, things would shift back more in a conservative, even Republican direction, I'm sure, as the liberal democratic direction is enforced primarily by getting illegal migrants to vote. It makes up a lot of their power base for sure. And that's why the Democrats are at the table of the establishment, and even a part of the supposed deep state, which for a long time I didn't believe in, but now I sort of do, with some recent articles I've seen. It's basically just the former Obama administration trying to undermine Trump's authority as president. Bottom line is, this is just going to make life in this country that much harder if we have to support all these damn migrants. They're making things harder on us. Anyway, that's it for the Culture Shock today, folks. I'm out.